Hello everyone, I'm Edward Nightingale. What I'll be presenting in this video is a foundation of my Giza Template research. There's convincing evidence that the Greeks and other much earlier cultures were aware of the ancient science of harmonics and mathematics, and this initiate knowledge has been preserved and passed down through the ages, hidden in plain sight, encrypted within the design and composition of architectural structures, in sacred geometry, sacred texts, artwork, symbology, mythology, and much more. These different expressions of communicating this initiate knowledge can be accomplished simply by adhering to a precise template. In this video, I'll give you a brief introduction to this ancient template, and from the dialogues of Timaeus, Plato gives us the keys that unlock these ancient secrets, and this presents us with a paradigm-shifting understanding, a truly unified theory based on harmonics and mathematics. So with that in mind, let's examine Plato's Lambda and the cosmic soul. We begin with the definitions of lambda and how the word and symbol is used currently in the sciences. Lambda as a symbol is in the shape of an inverted V. Lambda is the 11th letter of the Greek alphabet. Lambda is a symbol that indicates a wavelength of any wave, especially in physics, mathematics, and electronics engineering. In cartography and navigation, lambda denotes the longitude of a location. In cosmology, lambda is a symbol for the cosmological constant. In particle physics, lambda is a type of subatomic particle. In astrophysics, lambda represents the likelihood that a small body will encounter a planet or a dwarf planet, leading to a deflection of a significant magnitude. So an object with a large lambda value is expected to clear its neighborhood, satisfying the current definition of a planet. In electrochemistry, lambda denotes the equivalent conductance of an electrolyte solution. So we can see that the lambda is used in multiple systems of scientific measure, and being able to conduct science is based on the ability to observe and measure. The foundations of science rest on these two abilities. So let's see how Plato fits into this story. Plato was a Greek philosopher and founder of the Platonic Academy, where great minds of the times would gather and study this ancient initiate knowledge. Above the academy door was a sign that read, "Let no one ignorant of geometry enter here." Geometry is a key in any design or composition, and in this image is a mosaic discovered at the ancient site of the academy. And I want to point out that words and their etymology are also part of this hidden knowledge. So words and their names often describe their function. For example, in this case, the word mosaic as a noun means a picture or pattern produced by arranging small colored pieces of hard material. As an adjective, it has a meaning of or associated with Moses. So in this example, putting these two versions of the word together could read as a picture or pattern of hard material associated with Moses. And incidentally, the hard material would last thousands of years, preserving any information and knowledge that was encrypted into the design and composition. So there are many other examples of this, and I can assure you that these brilliant minds didn't arbitrarily compose this mosaic. So with that example in mind, let's ask the question, is it possible that this design was composed using a precise template that lies at the core of this ancient hidden science? And does it all begin with Plato's description of the cosmic soul? Let's find out. Plato describes God's creation in the dialogue of Timaeus in 360 BC. Plato states that God created the cosmic soul using two mathematical sequences. One, a doubling progression of 1, 2, 4, and 8. One, a tripling progression of 1, 3, 9, and 27. He places these numbers on an inverted V, the shape of the 11th letter of the Greek alphabet, and he states, "Now God did not make the soul after the body, although we are speaking of them in this order. For having brought them together, he would never have allowed that the elder should be ruled by the younger." After this, he filled up the double and triple intervals, cutting off yet other portions and placing them in the mixture. The key piece of data in my research, reverse engineering the design of the Giza complex, was the discovery of this ancient Egyptian method of squaring a circle. It's any circle with its diameter divided into 9 equal units approximates the area of a square consisting of 8 of those same size units per side. So a square having the area of 64 and a circle having the area of 63.6428. Now that is using pi of the value of 3.142857, or the fraction of 22/7 that was often used by the Egyptians. So this is a very harmonious relationship between a circle and a square, and it's really the most logical that I've ever seen. So this circle and square is the base of this template, and it's used for the survey plat. And the plat is a division of a parcel of land. And this is also going to be the plan view of the architectural blueprints for the Giza Plateau. And if we consider etymology in these words and names, which we will be doing all through this research, each of these having the same root, plat, P-L-A-T, plat, plateau, Plato. It might also interest you to know that Plato was his nickname. By combining Plato's lambda with our 8x8 square, using it as a coordinate plane, we can plot the coordinates and their corresponding numbers. So the coordinate plane was allegedly introduced by French mathematician René Descartes, in a system sometimes called the Cartesian coordinate system. The x and y axes are used in coordinate systems. They form a coordinate plane. The horizontal axis is represented by the x-axis, and the vertical axis is represented by the y-axis. The point where the two x and y axes intersect at the top left corner is known as the origin, and it is used as a reference point for the plane. The point where the x and y axes intersects on the plane is the coordinate. There are 64 squares contained in the 8x8 grid. The lambda number sequences are applied to the grid with the tripling across the top or x-axis and a doubling sequence down the y-axis of the grid. Each coordinate on a plane has a numerical value and are known as the natural or Platonic numbers. A line drawn diagonally from the origin or one on the grid at an angle of 53.13 degrees creates a Pythagorean 3-4-5 triangle that intersects two coordinate numbers, 432 and 186,624. Now notice that 432 is a square root of 186,624, and that number approximates the speed of light. And these two numbers are key. And Plato stated that mathematics is a language in which gods speak to people. The systems of measure are defined within this numerical template. To begin, a frequency of 1 hertz, or 1 cycle per second, has a wavelength of 186,282.397 miles. And a 432 hertz frequency has a wavelength of 431.209 miles. So the natural numbers are very close approximation to the real-world measurements. The 51.13 degree angle or 345 triangle is key to understanding the lambda and its role in the natural world. Here we'll look at the summing of the natural numbers. So the digit sum of any number, for example 432, is a sum of the digits 4 plus 3 plus 2 equals 9. If the sum of the digits is greater than 9, then the process is repeated. And these natural or Platonic numbers all sum to the number 9, with the exception of the first vertical row. The y-axis on the coordinate plane, where those numbers alternately sum to 3s and 6s, and all the other numbers on a coordinate plane sum to 9. And Nikola Tesla claimed, if you knew the magnificence of the 3, 6, and 9, you would have a key to the universe. There are two groupings of numbers that are of particular interest. Here again are the natural numbers, and highlighted are the 7 numbers we're going to focus on. Beginning at the origin, going 7 intervals down the y-axis and 7 intervals across the x-axis, and connecting these 2 points on a 45-degree angle line, it passes through 8 coordinate points over 7 intervals. Each interval, going up the diagonal scale, increases by a value of 1.5, a ratio of 2 to 3. This scale intersects the coordinate numbers 432 and the numbers 144, 288, and 432 are all associated with the systems of Earth measure. The numbers 864, 2592, 5184 are numbers that are associated with tracking the path of the sun and measuring the tempo of the great year, or the systems of celestial measure. As the word template would infer, the architects were encoding this initiate knowledge using a template derived from the word temple. Also, the words tempo and temporal are considered in the etymology layer and the data used in the template's design. The coordinate plane also serves as the plat and the plan view for the repository. The first structure in the plan is a pyramid of Khafre. It has a slope angle of 53.13 degrees, the angle of the 345 Pythagorean triangle. The scale of the plan is set by assigning Khafre's base length as equal to 1 square unit of the 8-9 grid. Positioned in the 6th square up from the bottom, centered on the vertical center line. The coordinate number is 648 at the center line of the eastern face, and the number 432 is at its southeastern corner and 1296 at its northeastern corner. The design and composition of the pyramid of Khafre encodes the lambda sequence and sets the scale of the plat and the plan on the Giza plateau given to us by Plato. By the way, Plato was his nickname. The scale is a result of 7 down the y, 7 across the x, and 7 diagonally, or 7 times 7 times 7 equals 343, or 7 cubed. So this number, 343, is defining the number of feet in a base length of the Pyramid of Menkaure, the smallest of the 3 main pyramids at Giza. Now next, each 1.5 interval, a perfect 5th interval in music by the way, is fractally divided into 7 intervals, giving us now 50 notes and 49 intervals. The value of the interval from 288 to 432 is 144. Now let's take a closer look at that. After fractally dividing the intervals, 432 is now the 21st interval. So the value of 144 divided by 7 is 20.571428, the precise number of inches in the academically accepted root cubit. 432 divided by 21 also sums to 21.571428. The numbers 7 and 21 are key. And beginning with the number 432 and subtracting 21, we end up with 411. This number is assigned as royal cubits, setting the scale of the 9 units. 411 times 9 equals 3,699 royal cubits for the overall dimension of the 9 by 9 grid. Royal cubits are derived from root cubits, and it will be explained in the following slide. So next, we take 21 and square it. So 21 times 21 is 441. And this is the number of root cubits in the outer base length of Khufu. 441 is multiplied by 20.571428, the root cubit, and it equals 9,072.022 inches. 9,072 is divided by 440, and it equals 20.61818 inches, the academically accepted number of inches in a royal cubit. Khufu's outer base equals 441 root cubits, 440 royal cubits, and both equal 9,072 inches or 756 feet. So now we've determined the base lengths of the 3 main pyramids and the angle of one of them. In my book, the Giza Template, Temple Grail Earth Measure, I cover the different cubits and how they are obtained. So we'll cover a few here. Beginning with 432 divided by 21, we obtain the root cubit. The root cubit plus its 440th part equals the royal cubit. 20.571428 plus its 440th part of 0.046753 equals 20.61818 inches. Now the canonical cubit and the geographic cubit are obtained by adding their 175th part. I took the liberty to name what I refer to as a keystone cubit. This length is exactly 21 inches, and there are 432 of them in Khufu's base length. So the outer base length of Khufu is 6 feet or 72 inches longer than measured at its center line, which is 3 feet or 36 inches less in on each side, making the base length at the center 9,000 inches, and technically a 4-sided pyramid. So this dimension of 9,000 inches or 753 feet relates to the canonical cubit. And what we've covered here in this video is just the tip of the iceberg, with many revelations to come regarding Giza and the ancient science of harmonics and frequency, and their key role in creating the cosmic soul. In Michael Sherbin's Goodreads review on Amazon of my book, The Giza Template, Temple Grail Earth Measure, he states, "The Lambda sequence is the fundamental diagram of the lost ancient science of harmonics, hinted at by Plato, a culmination of all learning but never revealed publicly." Michael has a more detailed review on Amazon where my book can be purchased. So we're going to wrap it up for this introduction to Plato's Lambda and the cosmic soul. So here's a sample for you to read from the more detailed review of my 2014 publication of the Giza Template from Michael Sherbin's review on Amazon, where the book can be purchased. I hope you'll support my research and this channel. There will be plenty of information to come soon regarding classes, and I'll be making available, as well as confirmation of a direct link between the template and Malcolm Bendall's plasmoid unification model, or PUM. These are quite exciting times we live in today, and it's time we pull back the curtain and reveal what's been hidden. It's only by understanding the past that allows us to begin understanding our future. My friend and mentor, the late great John Anthony West, described the template as the architectural Rosetta Stone. The implications and ramifications of this rediscovery of this ancient secret knowledge is, well, John said it best, so I'll leave you with his full endorsement of my work for you to read yourself. He was a friend and a major influence in my research. So I want to thank him, and I want to thank you all for watching, and we'll see you all again real soon. Thanks.